Hello, welcome back to another Pen Talk. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for sharing my journey, following my journey. And today we're going to be back on the main road, looking at another interesting pen from a Chinese pen maker. Yes, it's a Delike. And we'll give you that translation of those Chinese characters there to the left. And yes, it is a nice shiny metal box, and it's blue. And it has a sticker on the back. You know, inventory, barcode. We'll give you a translation of that also. The lid just pops off, and we see a pen sliding away. Yes, we do. We see a minimalistic pen, certainly of the pocket variety. Decent amount of weight to it, but not too heavy because it's not too big. You know, the cap unscrews with a fair amount of turns. I have to count those a little bit later, but we'll see. You know, a nice section here, a Delike nib, and of course I ordered it with the bent nib version because that's my favorite. I don't need any extra fines or fines because I can use this nib to write with different line widths if I want relatively easily. And what's nice about this pen is the outside has a knurled pattern to it. You know, there's a lot of concentric lines, and it just makes it feel good in the hand. I don't think this is coated. There's probably some type of corrosion resistance on it, but I think this will patina well over time. In the design of a lot of pocket pens, the cap threads onto the back of the barrel once you get those threads started. And I'm doing this over the camera, so it's not the easiest thing to do. But the threads feel fine once they get started. And again, a lot of turns, but of course when it's posted, it posts very securely. And it fits well in the hand. I would say it's a little on the heavy side. And one of the things that's nice about this design is it takes me a lot of turns. It is usable unposted. It is basically about as short as I could use unposted. And I have kind of like a little bit over medium-sized hands. That section does feel small, but the weight feels better without that cap being on the end of the pen. You may ask, have I seen a blue box, a metal blue box from Delike before? Yes, I have. Here's for that metal alpha version that they sold last year. And as usual, that similar type of barcode to handle inventory. So a simplistic design like this comes apart very easily. And I could pull that nib and feed out of that Delike section, but no need to because I'm happy with that nib, or at least I expect to be happy with that nib. One of the things that's obvious is that they made a shorter converter. It's going to hold less ink, but it'll fit fine in that barrel. It's good, yeah, a bit shorter, but very functional and very useful, but obviously less ink. And like I expected, there's no liner inside that cap. It's just a straight metal cap, but that should seal well with those threads, and it's probably one reason why there's a lot of very fine threads there, because that'll give you a nice airtight seal once that cap is screwed on. Always a question of what ink to put in a pen, and these are some of the new inks I recently got. Yes, I have too many inks, but I was interested in these guitar series when I first heard about them. So this is the first one I'm going to try. The ink card is interesting. It's pretty much the color that I hoped it would be. It kind of goes with my Robert Oster ink, like bronze and gold Antiqua. But it has a very interesting chromatography. I didn't expect that blue line at the very top. The rest of it's pretty much nice light brown. So let's see how it looks on paper. I elicit one of my crabs to hold the pen because it will roll away. So overall, I've spent a few days now with the pen, and the first response I get is it's heavy, and I don't dislike a heavy pen, but it's not one of my top 5 criteria for a pen I enjoy writing with is weight. Almost 4 turns to get that cap off. That's quite a bit. We're done with Mr. Krabby. So without the cap on it, the weight is pretty much at the high end, and it's not so much the actual overall weight. I'll give you those weights. But it's that the weight is focused and concentrated. It's a dense pen is the word I'm looking for. But let's see how this Delike bent nib writes. As with my other bent nibs, this one writes very smooth. I must admit I did a little micro mesh when I first got it because it was needed just a touch to make it excellent. And the other thing that's nice about this design is reverse. It does work, it's usable, but it's extra fine. And with this kind of light ink, pretty much not something I would do, but it certainly lays down a nice bit of ink when you use the nib the right way. And I do like this ink. I think it's a very nice color, kind of really reminds you of desert sand. So I'm going to give my normal rating. I'm going to give it an 8.3. I mean, I like a lot about the pen, but it's just not an everyday carry, not an everyday writer from my perspective. Having this in your pocket is certainly going to weigh you down. It feels good. It's extremely well made. You know, that's as good about it. Number 5 nib is I'm going to find from what I like to write with. That section is small, but then with a pen with this design, you're really not going to have a larger section on it. So let's do the detailed rating. So for design, it's going to get 3 checks. For engineering, it's going to get 3 checks. For build, it's going to get 3 checks. For writing, 1 check. Not because of the nib so much, but because of the ergonomics of the pen. Certainly not something I could use for long writing sessions. And I don't even think it would work for me as just a quick note taker, you know, 4 turns to get off the cap, which may impact that design. Maybe I was a little bit generous with 3 checks, but you know, it comes off. So if it takes another 3 or 4 seconds to take off the cap, it's certainly something that I think we all have those seconds to spare, and as long as it seals the nib. The look, I'll give it 2 checks. I was going to give it 3, but you know, it's brass. They did a good job with it. And for value, I'm also going to give it 2 checks. You know, I think for the price for a metal pen, I mean, if this is something you're looking for, you can't, hard to do better than this, especially at this price point, or maybe even 3 or 4 times this price point. You know, a nice clean metal pen, minimalistic design. Good job. So as I search eBay, I noticed that the pen, the price varies as all these Chinese pens seem to vary. So always do searches, refine your search as much as you can. Delike Brass Pen would work in the fountain pen section of eBay. It also now comes in a dark kind of antique finish, but you know, obviously the clean brass look is something I prefer. But the antiqued one, I think if this was a pen that I liked better, I might consider getting the antiqued one too. So we've reached the end of this video, so thank you for watching. You notice how it started up right away after having it, you know, out for my talk there. So enjoy your writing experiences. Enjoy putting ink on paper. Find some ink and nib that really works for you and put those thoughts down. Make them permanent. So we've reached the end of this video. There'll be more to follow. So we're going to say bye for now. Keep writing. Keep enjoying your life. Till next time.